There might be music here. There might not. If Dennis gets a hold of it, there will be music here. But until then, there's not music here. So,
Perfect.
Dennis.
Hi.
Okay, now maybe the music. No, the music would still be going. Hey, hi.
Hey.
How's it going?
I'm good. I'm reporting live from the bottom bunk again. Here we are. Happy spring break.
I'm reporting live from the bottom bunk of life. and, and guys, try though you might, you'll never make it to the top bunk because that's the society we live in. Bunch of bunk bottom feeders.
Listen, it's spring break.
Hey guys, welcome to Cold Hands Warm Hearts. I'm Brandon Birdwell. I'm one of the Cold Hands Warm Hearts podcasting duo.
Hi guys, I'm Ashley Engle. I'm the other half. Welcome to episode 145
45.
of the Cold Hands Warm Hearts podcast. That's how old I am. Guys.
Hey, is it? Are you 45?
I'm 145.
Oh, okay. Well, not a joke I was going to make, but you took it from me and you ran with it, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, you're welcome. Guys, it's been a week, and first and foremost, I want to shout out our hometown of Stillwater, Oklahoma. They have been through it these last couple of days. There were historic fires that swept through there on Friday into Saturday that just did a tremendous amount of damage. And our hearts have been with our community of Stillwater, and we'll get into that in just a little bit. But we wanted to start out by saying that. Stillwater, we love you.
Yeah, totally. It's crazy. It's
so crazy.
Nuts.
I know. We'll get into that here in just a little bit. But
because we report the news here.
We report the news.
We report the news here.
We do. We stay abreast of all the events.
Totally.
Hey, what are you up to? I haven't seen you in forever. What have you guys been doing? I see Ben on the couch behind you. Hi, Ben. He's on a device.
It's spring break. And
spring broken.
And by that, I don't mean spring break for him. I mean spring break for me from actively parenting. We
take this iPad and leave me alone.
Yeah, the iPad is the new Mary Poppins. You bring it in so a father can get a minute. You know, spoonful of YouTube helps the medicine go down. Get on there. Shut up and get on there. Because, guys, honestly, you can ask. Here's the thing. Historically, parents have been here to provide knowledge, guidance, support. YouTube can do all that. You need to know how to woo a gal? YouTube.com/woo a gal.
Don't look that up on YouTube, kids.
You go to a special site I started called WooTube, and it's a site that teaches you how to woo gals. There's one video. And it's me going, I don't know. Good luck keeping the race alive. Good luck keeping the human race alive, because at this point, if you're relying on me, big guy,
I'm in the bottom bunk.
Welcome to WooTube, where we're stuck on the bottom bunk for all time.
WooTube.
You need to know how to do something. Go to YouTube University, because Dad doesn't know. This Dad, you want to know what size a socket wrench is for this job? YouTube. Want to know how to get a gal? WooTube. Want to know how to make it through the day? I'm not your guy. Not your guy. Anyway, I'm taking a quick spring break from being a parent, and I got to tell you, it's going great.
It's going great.
He's learned more in the last day and a half than he has from me in 12 years.
What was your week like last week? Anything of note? Anything over the weekend that you guys have been doing?
Yeah, it was my last week of parenting.
Got it.
Before I called it quits.
Got it.
No, last week. What was last week? Did I do anything last week? I don't think so. I think, but it is. It's spring break. We're going to jump in there because I don't think last week had anything interesting to report.
Gotcha.
I watched some movies. I did some work, some work things. But here we are. It's spring break. Yesterday was St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
And now it's today. But that's it.
Listen, it was yesterday.
I know.
You can tell that I really celebrated. I was thinking it was, for some reason I had it in my head that it was tomorrow, but no, you're absolutely right. Yeah. It just came and went, and I missed it.
I just went around town pinching everyone.
Everybody.
Green or not. I just found people, and I went, pinch. And then I ran off. I just hid
Because
in
they
the
were like, "Hey, man, I'm wearing green head to toe,"
I
and you were
hid out
like,
in a porta
"This
potty
is
at
how I woo a
McNelly's.
gal." Oh,
Yeah, I hid out in a porta potty at McNelly's, and every time it opened, I just pinched someone on the face cheek.
shut lock.
A shot lock. Come back later.
Ugh.
Send your friends. If
You've
you
heard of the kissing booth. This is the pinching
the
booth.
pension booth, which is not
No, it's
not a
not good.
cool place to be. I don't care who you are.
I don't think either of those places are cool places to be. Did you ever visit a kissing booth? I didn't. Maybe they've been outlawed. I don't know.
Kissin' Booth was my nickname in high school.
Was it?
No,
Okay.
John Wilkes Kissin' Booth.
That's not okay for a variety of reasons.
Why? Explain every one of them right
Okay.
now. No, I've never visited a Kissin' Booth. I feel like by the time I was of Kissin' Booth age, they had become a bit
Taboo.
a bit of a taboo,
Yeah.
taboos. And
Yeah.
you can't be kissing a gal for a shilling
No.
at the carnival. Show
No.
up from the cakewalk, pop over
Ugh.
here.
Icing all
You
over
gotta
the
catch a
face.
gal at the beginning of her shift at the kissing booth.
Right.
Because I'm trying to be the first kiss at the kissing booth, and then I'm back to my cobblers because I won this fair and square, and you can't take it from me. And I catch you at your shift, and then maybe we go and share a cobbler when you're off your shift at the kissing booth. You know, because if there's one thing I knew how to do, it was to win a cobbler. I knew how to time my steps to land on the cobbler that I wanted.
Yeah.
You know, what's this? Tres leches cake? Too wet. Too wet. And then over here, what
Not
do you
enough
got?
fruit.
Shortbread?
Too much milk.
Too dry. I got a real Goldilocks cobbler situation going. I got the tres leches on one side. I've got the shortbread on the other. Where's Meemaw's cobbler? Because I'm stepping 1, 2, 3. Never gonna give you up. Never gonna let you know. That's like musical chairs. The music's playing, and I'm trying to step. Never gonna run around. Cobbler, and then I'm there.
Just Rickrollin at the cobbler station.
Rickrollin at the cobbler station is the title. And then I get my cobbler and I say, I'll take this cobbler to go, please. Megan Talley's shift's about to start at the kissing booth.
Hi, Megan.
And then I pop over there, cobbler in hand. No, this isn't for you. This is for later. I've paid my shilling for my kiss at the booth. And now I'll be in the corner under the shade tree.
This is so
Face
specific.
coated in peach. Pesh face. I've successfully wooed my girl for the semester, and now
You really painted a picture.
I learned it on. There's no possible way any of this could have really happened in real life, as specific as it is.
Right.
Megan Talley's been ducking me for months. When I catch her at the booth,
Listen. So, yeah. Thanks for sharing that.
I like
Thanks for
that that's-
sharing that when I asked about your week.
you're welcome. None of this
Okay.
happened this week.
No. Well, it's been a very full week, and I know you have more things to share, but you just don't take notes during the week, and you need to start doing that. You need to keep it in your notes app.
I like to live in the
When
moment.
something happens, well, I know you do, but when something happens that you think we might like to hear about or something funny, just type it up in there and share it with us. Next week we'll try that, okay?
That sounds good.
Well, so as I say, it's been a really full week and weekend, and we'll get to all that with Stillwater and the fires and all of it. But on Wednesday, I got to see one of my dear friends, and this is in advance one of my warm hearts, but my friend Mel Hyatt. And I don't think you've ever met Mel, but you need to.
I like to say Mel's name, Mel Hyatt.
Yeah,
It's fun to
she
say.
and I. Yeah, right. We met when we were both in youth ministry, and she's one of those friends in my life who gives the very best advice, right? Like she's enough in my life on the day-to-day, but enough out of it that like she always gives me good perspective. You know what I mean?
Sure,
You
Mel.
have friends like that.
Classic Mel.
Classic Mel. But she's one of those people, and I know you have them too, who I just feel better knowing that she's out in the world.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
Just one of those friends that you're like, thank God you're out there. You know what I mean?
Thank God for Mel.
Thank God for Mel. But anyway, she works for a ministry now that is geared towards single moms called Arise. And it's a wonderful ministry. But she came to speak on Wednesday night at our student ministry at the church. And she's a phenomenal storyteller. In fact, she goes all over the country to youth events speaking. She's real good. But she shared a lesson with the students on the Good Samaritan that will be with me for a long time. And she captivated them. She had him in the palm of her hand. It was just beautiful to witness. And it was just such a joy to see my friend in her element. Like, she's just so good, and I'm so proud of her. So shout out Mel. Her Melement. I just love you so much, Mel. But that was Wednesday.
You just dedicated a lot of time to Mel.
Mel
just ate a lot of podcast minutes.
Yeah.
And Mel owes us something for that.
But check out Mel's ministry at Arise. If you are a single mom, if you know a single mom, they do incredible work. She's a wonderful speaker as well. If you have a group that you need, especially if they're students, someone to speak to, she's awesome. I'm so proud of her. I just love her. And it was a gift to see her in the moment. And I loved that our kids got to see her. My boys got to see her because, man.
Proud of you, Mel.
She's real good.
Proud of you, Mel.
Yeah. But just a plug for her ministries. Okay, on Thursday, I got to have lunch with a friend, Caroline. Shout out, Caroline, at Neighborhood Jam.
I like a trip to Neighborhood Jam.
What do you like to get there? What's your thing at Neighborhood Jam?
Well, okay, here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it just depends on the day. Depends if I've got to, like, if I'm gonna be on the runway later that week. Depends if I've got to shoot. Depends if I'm just full blown debauching.
Okay.
If I've got to shoot.
Right.
Coming up, it's probably I'm gonna do like just a standard breakfast, maybe protein.
If I'm on the cut.
If I've got a tube sock ad to shoot on a Tuesday, okay. I'm gonna need because I need to be vascular.
You can't be bloated.
I can't be bloated. Mm-hmm. Salt content way down.
Sure.
Protein up.
Carbs down.
Carbs down. We're on the cut, so I go to Neighborhood Jam, and I'll get an eggy and like a meat side, probably like a bacon.
Because there's no sodium in there.
Okay. Don't tell me what works. Okay. There's a reason that I keep getting calls from the big fashion houses, and it's because I know how to regulate my salt. Okay.
Okay.
There's a reason Yves Saint Laurent wants me on the quarterly
to model these bow ties.
Yeah, and I was going to say nothing else, but anyway.
Please don't.
Oh, well, okay, fine. Got to make a living. But anyways, so.
Gotta get out of this bottom bunk somehow.
Never going to happen. Like a standard breakfast, but I won't eat like potatoes or like the toasts or whatever. Standard breakfast with a coffee. But if I'm going debauch styles, I think they've got one called is it called the Heap?
It's called the Heap.
That was my nickname in high school as well. But I get it with the pork. It's like a green chili pork on it, and it's quite literally just what it sounds like. It's a heap.
A pile of stuff.
It's just a heap of stuff. It's like someone came out and went, "Here's your slop, you disgusting human piece of garbage," and it's so good. And so that's what I get. I get the heap.
So Neighborhood Jam is one of those restaurants that I love. I know I love it, but I don't have a thing that I have fixated on that I think about when I go to that place. And I think I may have found my thing. They have several different Benedicts on the menu, several different eggs Benedict, and they call them Bennies. Hi, Benny. And this time I got the corn cake Benny, which is a variation of Eggs Benedict, obviously, not using the English muffin, but kind of like a polenta-esque cake underneath.
Yeah, corn cake.
I think that's my new favorite thing at Neighborhood Jam. I've
Corn
been
cake, Benny?
thinking about it ever since. Uh-huh.
I like a corn cake.
It was real good.
I like a corn cake.
We'll
I support
try it
that.
next time.
Listen, after being badgered for quite some time by Lindsay to go, I had been before, but she had never been. Have you to Cafe Cacao?
Cafe Cacao. Tell me where that one is.
It's off
in the city.
Classen.
I've been there once, years ago.
It's very, very good. The wait is always terribly long, but
Yes.
she said that it was her best breakfast experience that she can recall. It was
Ooh,
very
what did she
good.
get?
She got the corn cake Benedict.
No, she did
She
not.
didn't. She got like it's like it was like a variation on migas. It was like miguelias, and it was like a
Uh-huh.
it was delicious.
Is it Peruvian?
No, it's Guatemalan, but thank you for
Guatemalan.
asking.
Okay. Just wanting to clarify. Like I say, Jeff and I went there years ago. I remember the coffee being delicious.
Very good
Guatemalan.
coffee. Very good coffee.
Uh, that would make sense. But yeah, I need to go back.
It's
Ooh,
very good.
nice.
It's very good.
See,
Get
you're
on
doing
the wait list.
stuff
Get on the wait list though,
in advance.
because I got on the wait list
Mm-hmm.
and was told hour wait, and I thought, okay, that'll work because I got to drop Benny off. We're gonna meet friends down there. So we got down there, and it had been probably 50 minutes since I put a thing, and I stroll up there, proud,
Yeah.
proud of my timing, thinking this guy's been to breakfast before. Who knows how to who knows how to get a table in the city? This guy. This guy. So I walk up and we go up to him and we're like, the reservation. And he goes, okay, that'll be about an hour. And I was like, hold the phone, sir. And he said, well, that's an estimated wait. And now I thought, well, why even estimate that? Why estimate an hour?
Why?
Give me this
Why?
weird. I've never been happier than my walk from the car to the front door of that restaurant thinking I did it. I really did it. I might be a capable human. But then I got there and it was estimated that I was a capable human.
Did
And
you have to wait a whole nother hour?
probably a good 45,
Whoa.
which
Why did
was,
you even call? Did it do anything?
God, it's to save me an hour apparently, which would have been on top of the
Whoa.
45. But all that to say, nice weather outside.
Worth it.
And you know what? I'll tell you one thing that will always make a wait outside a restaurant better, other than good weather and good
Yep.
company.
Yep.
Um, Whenever a car pulls up in the parking lot,
Okay.
rolls the window down,
Uh-huh.
greets you,
Uh-huh.
and you look in the window, and it's Zeke. And so, he and his mom were there having a nice impromptu breakfast gathering together. And so I leaned in to his car and hugged him while he was driving, and
Oh,
so I
he's
got
our
to see
foreign language consultant, one
got
of
to see
them.
got to see Zeke. And so you know what? If they would have let us right in, you know what I wouldn't have gotten to do? Hug Zeke in his car. So
That's right.
thanks Cafe Cacao for estimating incorrectly, because you got me a hug.
Oh, Huggin' Booth with Zeke.
Hugging booth with Zeke
Yeah.
is I would pay a whole cobbler. I would forego the cakewalk altogether to go
Sure.
to a Zeke hugging booth.
Oh.
But anyway,
Well, so see, you've been doing stuff.
yeah, but
You're a man about
that
town.
wasn't last week. That was yesterday.
Well, when I say what you've been up to this week or weekend, that encompasses the time since I have seen
Yeah,
you
but then you
to
asked me last
record.
week. But then you said last week after that. You added too many parameters.
Brandon, okay, from
What?
now on, okay, we've only been doing this 145. Next
Ugh,
time I'll say, what have you been up to since I've seen you last?
that's
Then
better.
maybe you'll have some stuff to tell us.
That's better.
Okay, so here's where the week took a turn.
Yeah.
I'm on Saturday. I'm on Friday here. Friday was an incredibly warm and windy day in Oklahoma, like insanely
Very
warm and
windy.
windy.
The windiest.
So windy. I mean, gusts in our state up to like 75, 80. Hurricane force, they said. Insane. Historic. We were warned by meteorologists in central Oklahoma that the fire danger would be very high. They call it
Yeah.
a red flag warning, right? So we get a text from
Also
Jeff's
my
mom.
nickname in high school. So far, he was called Heap.
Uh-huh.
He was called Red Flag Warning. High school was tough
It was a tough time.
for this guy. Not enough cobblers in the world to get me through it. Anyway,
No.
sorry. Red Flag Warning.
Red flag warning. So we get a text from Deb, from Jeff's mom, probably like 3:15 on Friday afternoon, and she says, "Please pray. We have two big fires headed toward our house."
Yeah.
So, meanwhile, in Edmond, which is about 50 minutes up the road,
Right.
the sky is like so hazy, red with Oklahoma dirt.
Yeah.
And the smoke is starting to fill also, so it was real hard to breathe. It was awful to be outside.
Yeah.
So immediately we're like on alert. They live on the west side of Stillwater, not far at all from where we grew up. the house we grew up in, like within walking distance. So on the west side of Stillwater, it's sort of bordered by all of these fields. And in these fields and wooded areas, there are all of these red cedar trees, which when the fire danger is high,
Which not to brag though, we have a member of my extended family, your more immediate family, that is the foremost expert in the aforementioned red cedar.
Jeff's dad knows a whole lot about the red cedar.
I brag about it all the time.
Do you?
My
Well,
brother-in-law's dad, guys.
guys,
Everyone shut up and listen to what I have to say.
listen to Dave's expertise
No,
on
listen
the
to me
eastern red
talk
cedar.
about it.
Oh,
I want to make it about me.
always.
Yeah, well, thank you for acknowledging that.
But actually, so Dave has experience fighting wildfires. He used to help do controlled burns, like range management.
Sure.
So he has experience putting out wildfires. That will come into play later. Okay, so this is a dangerous situation on the west side of town because there are all these fields and all these trees. It's very dry here. We haven't had a ton of rain recently. So these fires kick up on Friday afternoon and they just start spreading, and the wind is just like blowing them through, and they're jumping roads because the embers will blow into a dry patch of grass or into another cedar tree, and they just go up like torches, you know?
Yeah.
So they start to evacuate everybody on the west side of town in Stillwater. They do evacuate the students from OSU. Here we are on the Friday before spring break, so they try to get everybody out of town early because who knows what's going to happen, right? They're closing businesses. There's a Walmart on that side of town, hotels, everything. So the police are going door to door in this certain area, pounding on the doors, getting people to evacuate. There's tons of smoke in the air as the fire spread. People are having trouble breathing. It's touch and go all evening. And we're texting with Jeff's parents all night to find out where they are, what's going on. So we're seeing things on the news, and we're hearing things from people also whose properties are in danger, right? They're out on their lawns, trying to soak their grass with their hoses, their roofs, and whatever. Trying to load up things from their houses to leave just in case. Okay. At about 10:30, we get another text from Dev and Dave that they've had to leave their house. The police are like, absolutely not. You can't be here. So they drove to a nearby neighborhood and parked, right? The neighborhood where we grew up, partly. And they just park on the side of the road. Meanwhile, Dave Engle, my brave father-in-law, puts on his firefighting gear from his days of doing range management,
Sure.
walks back through multiple neighborhoods to his property, and starts putting out fires in the woods behind his home.
Yeah, as you do.
As you do. And so Deb is in a neighborhood waiting for him for hours as he does this. So I said, Jeff Engle, call your father right now. First of all, like, it's dangerous for him to be here and doing this. I know he knows what he's doing, but I just want to make sure that he's okay. So Jeff puts him on speakerphone, and we can hear Dave like crunching through the underbrush in the woods behind his house, putting out fires. And we can hear the houses that burned were so close. We can hear in the background explosions of people's propane tanks, their gas tanks from their cars. Like, people had ammunition in their homes, so things were exploding all around.
That's
and we can hear
terrifying.
this.
Yeah.
It was terrifying.
Yeah.
The black of night. So anyway, it was real hard to sleep that night. Right? Because we're fielding all these calls and texts from people who know Deb and Dave live here. Are they okay? Are their neighbors okay? People couldn't find where their people had been evacuated to. It was just, it was
that's
crazy.
Terrifying.
It was terrifying. So we find out the next day, they ended up going to a hotel about midnight.
Okay.
slept, kind of. And then they got cleared to go home, like, I don't know, around lunchtime on Saturday. Jeff made the decision to drive up on Saturday morning to check on his parents, check on their property, help where he could. He actually ended up helping Dave kind of put out some hot spots that were still smoldering because it burned all night. So It turns out that two neighborhoods in Deb and Dave's, or two homes in their neighborhood burned completely to the ground. People that we know
Mm-hmm.
lost everything, right? And all told, they're reporting now 75 houses in Stillwater were completely destroyed, which is such a significant loss. And for a community like
Yeah, that's
Stillwater
terrible.
that is not huge, like it's devastating. And so
Right.
many people we know
Mm-hmm.
from growing up in high school and working with mom and dad. What I do know is that Stillwater is a super special community. And I know that people are going to rally around these people who have lost so much, but it just happened so quickly and it was such a wild event, and there's a danger of it happening again today and tonight. The winds are not as high as they were at this point, but my gosh, what a horrible,
There's
horrible
supposed to, there's a
thing.
there. It's like the risk of it today.
Yesterday and today, and I did hear about a few fires kicking up like
Yeah.
in Logan County yesterday, but the winds are not as crazy as they were those
Yikes.
days.
Well,
I know.
fingers
It was
crossed
just,
it doesn't happen again. That's awful.
it really was so, so crazy. And Stillwater, we just love you, and to all our friends and family. And just the stories coming out of there are crazy. Like families we know who the fire came right up to the edge of their property
Mm-hmm.
and stopped, or they were able to turn on their sprinklers and, it helped a
Mm-hmm.
little bit, but oh my gosh, just
Yeah, yeah.
amazing.
Well, ugh, hate it. It's
I know,
awful.
hate it. And Deb and Dave's home, it was fine. Like, ugh, they're neighbors, but like a couple blocks away, two houses in their neighborhood burned completely to the ground. Just completely. And they took a picture from their kitchen window on Friday night, and the sky was just orange
Yeah, I mean,
with
it got even.
flames.
It was even. The sky was orange here, like
Yep.
in Edmond, all the way. Like I'm sure there were closer fires than just Stillwater, but like outside, it looked weird.
Yeah.
So
Oh, yeah. It was just wild.
crazy.
Absolutely wild. I know. So I hope everybody is okay and taking care of themselves. And I just can't imagine
Yeah.
losing everything.
Oh
I mean,
yeah.
it's just your home, it's just your stuff, as long as you and your people are
Still
okay.
though,
But
I mean, it doesn't
oh,
doesn't make it any easier, I'm sure. But yeah, I mean, of course, it's always nice whenever it's just stuff. But that's
exactly.
still you can feel very displaced and
Oh,
and all that.
just lose everything, especially if you lived in the same place for a long time, or
Totally.
if you
Yeah.
had a lot of memories or photos or family heirlooms. Ugh, it's so much to think about.
Yep.
So, yeah, on Saturday, once we were sure, and Jeff was there, once he was sure that his parents were back home and settled and everything was okay, we headed to the lake, which is where we are now. And mom and dad joined us, which was fun because it was dad's first time ever being here. He has not been able to ever see this
Hmm.
place. And so we had a lot of fun. They were with us for a couple days and went back yesterday morning. But yeah,
I didn't get invited to that, guys.
you're always
No, I
invited.
was told, sit this one out, big guy.
Sit this one out, big guy. Mom and dad are going to sleep in the mattress that you should have had.
Yeah, sit this one out, big guy. Mom and dad are scouting rooms that they need to fill with furniture. Sit this one out, big guy.
Yeah.
There's not enough cobbler to go around. And guys, here's the thing. When you live your life,
We knew this was going to happen.
guys, when all you want is an emotional cobbler from your family, and they're withholding it, and then taking it to the lake for everyone but you, and
Right.
they say, let's send them texts periodically and let them know how much cobbler we're having, and it's fine. It's fine.
Metaphorical cobbler.
Yeah, and that's fine. And I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed it because the wounds that I will carry
Okay.
henceforth. Shut that dog up.
I'm sorry.
talking.
We're all in
I'm
here.
talking.
There's going to be noises.
Well,
There has not been any cobbler eaten at all, and you were told about this.
it's not about the
And
cobbler.
you're always welcome.
The cobbler's not real. Okay? Dr. Freud would say that the
Okay.
cobbler's been inside of me all along. Okay, don't. You're not allowed to feel the feelings.
I'm not.
No, these are mine. And I have agency and a responsibility to myself. And I'm holding space for me and my cobbler. And you're over there just appropriating. I'm just trying to weaponize the language of therapy because I know it so well. I discovered it on YouTube.
On WooTube?
No.
One fun thing that we did do is we went into Carlton Landing again, which we've talked about before. Beautiful lake community around Lake Eufaula. And we met up with Mom and Dad's friends, Steve and Susie, which was so fun to see them. They're building a beautiful home there. And so they took us through their house, which was beautiful and so good to see them. Then we went to go eat at Captain John's, which is sort of like Cajun-y type food, which was fun. And then we've been playing a lot of board games. I will say, things got pretty heated when we were playing Clue. And at one point, Mom was looking at the dagger, just examining the dagger, and she goes, I remember that the boys on the playground in Skiatook, Oklahoma, growing up, used to play chicken with their pocket knives at recess.
Yeah. But like when you stab it between your fingers? Is that what she's talking about?
No, when you throw it in the dirt at someone's foot.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And the last person to move is the chicken. The first person to move is the chicken.
We used to be a proper society. We used to
Can
know
you
how
imagine?
to have fun.
Hopefully they were wearing steel-toed boots. Those saddle Oxfords.
They were, because they all had to go punch the clock at the quarry right after recess.
They were wearing Converse. They were wearing Chucks.
Yeah.
And that little rubber part, that's not going to protect your toes from a pocket knife.
From a Swiss Army, maybe. Like, those aren't big blades. It wasn't that harrowing.
What if they had a switchblade?
That was a butterfly knife that you just did.
Butterfly knife.
Okay, now you're just flailing. I will say that I learned I'm pretty good with a butterfly knife because I always thought it was so cool looking. Not a skill that served me well in life. I don't keep a butterfly knife handy.
I don't fly with one.
Well, you're not opposed to. But if I'm just saying, if ever we find ourselves in a scenario where skilled butterfly knife like abilities are needed, don't take this from me. I have like 2 skills. Okay.
Bow staff skills.
No, I'm real good at a cakewalk.
Yes.
And I'm proficient with a butterfly knife. Yeah. And if ever those 2 overlap, forget about it. If ever someone says, we need to cut this cobbler and all I've got's a butterfly knife, sit, and then and here we are enjoying cobbler 3 seconds later. Before we had nothing and dinner and a show. Because here I am whipping a butterfly knife around, crumbs everywhere, limbs akimbo, crumbs everywhere.
But she talked about how the boys at her school would play chicken with their knives at recess. Sure. And then she goes, as we got older, she said, kids, there was this hairstyle called the beehive. Yeah. And it's where the gals would rat their hair up real tall. Sure. And it'd just be a big pile, a heap, if you will, a heaping pile of hair. And she said,
like an Amy Winehouse head.
The Amy Winehouse head. Yeah. Then the gals started hiding the knives in their beehives. Sure. For their boyfriends. Yeah. So they started to have to outlaw the beehive this reason.
The hairdo is called the alibi. And yes. I am with Peggy Sue at the cinema. We just went down here to catch a flick. And over at the diner, someone decided to pitch woo at my gal. So I reached into her headpiece. Yanked out my butterfly knife, whip,
and had a rumble.
And I told that jabroni from 2 towns over, back to your side of the tracks, big guy. And then before the proprietor of the diner could come over and tell me to stop it, I'm shoving that thing right back into Peggy Sue's head. And she says, I don't know. I've never seen this before in my life. And then I unroll my
straight out of The Outsiders.
Yeah, and then I unroll my left sleeve and I fire up a heater.
Yeah, you do.
Just a lung dart, and I just go to puffing and I say, I'm a bad kid. I'm a bad kid. Thank God my gal's got a nice thick head of hair.
Why are you? This happened in Oklahoma. This happened in eastern Oklahoma.
I'm a transplant.
Oh, are you?
Mom and Dad moved up here. How am I? I'm not just some Joe Schmo from the farm. I'm stashing a knife in my girl's hair. That's not farm behavior. That's not corn-fed demeanor. That's a
That's Danny Zuko.
Yeah, that's a
In The
hickey from
Outsiders.
Kanicki's, like a Hallmark card. Which, by the way, Jeff Conaway, 45 years old in that movie. There's
45.
no way that guy's playing high school. He's looking shot out.
So many of the people in the cast of Grease look way older than they should be.
Not who was casting that?
But anyway, you could hide anything in a beehive hairdo, and I'm glad they're out of style for that reason. Who knows where we'd be as a society, you know?
Are they out of style? I guess they are. I guess there was that like neo-soul renaissance during the Winehouse movement.
Yeah. I mean, you could still, listen, you could still be a renegade and have.
You can do whatever you
absolutely.
want. Yeah. Who's going to tell you not to? Tell me not to wear a beehive. This is America. I'll
That's
do
right.
what I want. Now, don't try to go through airport security with that thing full of weaponry. Now, a cobbler on a plane. Stuff that up there. That's fine.
That's fine.
Snacks for later. Some jerkies in your hair. All that's fine. Just nothing with a sharp edge.
Nothing with a sharp edge
Yeah.
in the beehive. But we're still here at the lake, and we're coming home tomorrow.
Who did Mom know that was stashing knives in their beehive head?
She said some names. She said some names, and I didn't write them down because I wasn't about to share them on the air. But
You gotta
she
think the
has
statute of
receipts.
limitations is passed for beehive hair knife smuggling.
she has receipts. If she'd come on here and talk to us ever, she could tell us, but she's
Okay.
not gonna.
Well, coward.
Okay, the other day I was in the Walmarts,
Go ahead.
and one of the things I was picking up, it doesn't matter why I was there, but a familiar song that I have not heard in years tickled my ears, and it was "The Right Stuff" by the New Kids on the Block, which is an odd song to be on a playlist at a Walmart's.
I disagree.
It's not a song you hear often.
Well, you're not hanging
In
out in the right
public.
Walmarts. It's a song that, but see, to me, it's like it doesn't feel out of place. That's a cakewalk song for sure.
Do you think?
That was prime cakewalk time? New
Well,
Kids
it
on the Block?
was.
I feel like that's okay. I'm not. Listen. Let it happen. Don't question it, because if you do, maybe it won't come back. Maybe you won't hear the right stuff anymore. And let's just embrace that. The fact that Walmart was trying to give you a little taste of nostalgia amidst the falling prices.
Because, guys, we have shared before, I hope we communicated what massive New Kids on the Block fans we were.
Yeah.
I fangirled, and so did Brandon, for the New Kids on the Block more than I have ever fangirled for any other artist ever.
They were.
I don't know if I can speak the same for you.
Probably not, just given what's happened since then. But at that point, I remember really liking them. I remember being like, this is my identity for a minute. This is what I'm going to be about.
We had all the stuff. I had
Jordan,
a New
John,
Kids.
Jordan, Danny, Donnie, Joey, all the boys that are hanging tough from the mean streets of Boston. And I'm pretty sure that was my first concert.
Same.
New Kids on the Block.
Same.
Do you know what? I was actually thinking about it the other day, and I wish that I had a cooler answer to this story. Like, if I ever had to go on a podcast where someone was like, Brandon Birdwell, what's your first musical memory? What's your first concert? And I wish I could be like, it was Black Sabbath at the Forum, or I saw anyone else.
Anyone
But I saw
else
the New Kids on the Block.
in Tulsa.
Oh, okay, well that's pretty cool, Brandon. So how about a first musical memory? And I would have to say this. Do you want to know what I would have to say?
What?
As much as I love the Beatles and they're the soundtrack of my childhood, playing around the house, and I love them, and I remember Garth Brooks music, which is not that cool either, but I could say
Depends who you talk
I could
to.
say all of these things.
Yeah.
But do you want to know what I remember sitting in a car and thinking this might be my favorite song? As I got into a minivan. Don't remember if it was Mom's, if it was a friend's. I don't remember.
Yeah.
But all I remember is the song by Paula Abdul, Straight Up.
Oh, yes.
And you know what got me into music from that point on? And that's what did it. And I was like, I love music now. Thanks a lot, Paula Abdul. And then from there, Huey Lewis came to call a time or two.
Sure.
I let the tape rock till the tape pop of Bad by Michael Jackson. I had some of that.
did.
But I will say, if we're talking gateway drugs,
Paula.
Straight Up.
I didn't know that.
No one did. This is the first time I'm saying it. I'm not, honestly, it sounds less cool coming out of my mouth than I thought it would.
I think it's great. That was a favorite of mine for a while too.
Yeah, but that's okay for you.
Well, is it okay for anyone?
And that's the real question.
Honestly, Paula's still got it.
Well.
She's still out here. Okay, but listen, we were huge New Kids on the Block fans, and like you alluded to earlier, we constantly had the oldies playing in our house. Crindy raised us on KOMA, coma, and I used to joke about it and be like, Mom, you're going to put me into a coma with all these oldies. Have you listened to KOMA anytime recently? Because now they're playing songs from the 90s and 2000s.
Literally listened to it yesterday and had this exact conversation. No lie. Did you know
you?
Nirvana is like the release of Nevermind is farther away from us now than the last Beatles recordings were whenever Nirvana came out. Think about that. The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air is old, is reruns, is old and on Nick at Night. That's what's happening right now.
And well, because we were raised on Nick at Night as well.
Yeah. I was watching the Dick Van Dyke Show and I Love Lucy. Now people are watching Full House.
And Fresh Prince.
Yeah.
It is the weirdest feeling. But that's exactly how we felt about Mom's music that she played for us on KOMA. I used to fall asleep to KOMA for years.
Yeah. I used
Now
to
they're
fall
playing
asleep
Nirvana.
to records, vinyl records, and I would have to wake up and flip them over.
I know.
Smothers Brothers.
I know.
Also Bill Cosby. Not hasn't aged the best, that one.
Problematic.
But I still have his records.
To this day, and we shared this, guys, for a while Brandon had bunk beds in his room, and I would sleep in one of the bunks and he would sleep in the other one, and we would listen to records to fall asleep. And to this day, the sound of a record needle at the end of a record is one of the most soothing sounds to me.
It's great. It's great. I still have all those records, and I still listen to them. Not the Bill Cosby ones.
When I have trouble sleeping, maybe I should forgo Sleepy History for the sound of a record needle.
What if there's just a recording that's just that? I bet there is.
I bet there is.
Yeah.
Oh, 1,000%. There's a bunch of weird sleepy sounds. But no, I don't want that sound. That doesn't put me to sleep. Okay, but I was thinking about that. The way Hope feels about Taylor Swift, the way she would fangirl for Taylor Swift is the way I fangirled for the New Kids on the Block.
Well, I think it's
And
clear that
was the pinnacle
one is
of my
better than the
fandom.
other. And it's
I would
New
also-
Kids on the Block.
Yeah, sure. I would also put Michael Jackson
They
in that
walked
category.
so she could run. Without the New Kids on the Block, there
I don't
is no
think so.
Okay.
But I would also put Michael Jackson in that category. Also problematic now.
Also has not aged well. Have his records too, though.
Right. But at the time, I would have fangirled for Michael Jackson that way as well.
Yeah, he made Thriller.
Oh, so good. And as far as female artists go, I don't know that I had one. We weren't allowed to listen to Madonna.
We were more of a VH1 household.
Naughty.
We were if we were really stashing the Switchblade in our beehive, we had some Bonnie Raitt playing. We were if I see
What?
I'm just saying Brandon's feeling kind of naughty. Let's go listen to Desiree. You gotta be bad, you gotta be bold, you gotta be wise.
Gotta be wise.
Oh, here we go. We're gonna hit the town, but first, You got a fast car. Meanwhile, over here on MTV, you got all the naughties. I had to sneak over to Spencer Campbell's house.
I had to sneak over to Sarah Pugsley's house.
What's Soundgarden up to today? But before I
I had to
leave,
sneak over there to watch Vogue in November Rain.
I come home humming Black Hole Sun, and Mom's like, "What's that?" And I'm like, "Oh no, 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 no! I'm sorry. I can't make you love me if you don't." Back to VH1. All the sinners on channel 31.
31. We weren't allowed to
Did you
to watch
notice that
MTV, guys.
VH1 always, every VH1 video looks the same? It's like that sepia tone. And it's everyone looks like a tintype come to life. Better to save just a little bit of money.
Listen, VH1 behind the music though.
Yeah, well, oh sure, that was the edgy time. That was VH1 After Dark.
We weren't allowed. And here's the thing, and Mom, this will be the first time you're hearing this. We did have tiny little TVs in our bedroom when we got into high school. We were allowed to have a tiny little TV, and we had cable.
Yeah, sure.
Here's a fun secret.
Yeah.
You could get MTV sometimes
Through the
snow.
Dude, nothing better.
That's my confession.
Yeah.
Mom, that's my teenage confession.
Nothing better than catching, the new Hootie and the Blowfish through the snow. But Hootie's also a VH1 band. But this, like, here's the thing. I go over to Spencer Campbell's house. He's got VH1, or he's got MTV, he's got HBO, and he's got a Nintendo. I go home and it's VH1 and a Sega.
Guys, we had Sega.
Not even Genesis, just the original Sega and VH1. So when I get tired of listening to Bonnie Raitt do her thing, let's fire up the Sega for some off-brand gaming. All my friends are like, "Hey, can I bring my Marble Madness cartridge over so that we can really game it up tonight?" I'm like, "Oh, we can try to fit it in the Sega, but I don't think they're compatible." But if you want to know what Desiree thinks, you gotta be bad, you gotta be bold, you gotta be. Also, all our cereals, no sugar in them. We can't have. I know you like Fruit Loops. I know you like Frosted Flakes, but I could maybe try to sneak some contraband sugar from the pantry on top of the corn flakes.
Listen.
We could get some sugary corn flakes and listen to Hootie.
Listen. And honestly, we're better for it, Mom and Dad. We are better for it. But if I wanted a Pop-Tart,
Yep.
couldn't find it in our pantry.
Forget about a toaster strudel.
I'd go down to Craig's house for Pop-Tarts.
Yeah.
Our neighbor. If I wanted to watch MTV, I was going to the Pugsleys.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know what though? I did feel like new worlds opened up when we got into the snack wells.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Because we did always have those Devil's Food snack wells.
And I didn't realize how bad for you they were because I thought it said no sugar. So it's fine. Meanwhile, I eat one snack wells. I got to be outside on the skip it for 45 minutes. Just to shake something loose.
My pogo ball.
I got to get on a pogo ball to drop these snack wells calories real quick. I got a show. I got a tube sock shoot coming.
Do you remember that wave of non-fat snacks? And we had the chips with Olestra.
Olestra, which on the back of the bag said may cause loose stools.
I think I talked about this once in an episode. I worked with someone, I'm not going to say who.
Well, let's call her Olestra.
This woman was an incredible person, an amazing leader. Every day for lunch, she would sit down next to me. She would have a cup of black coffee and half a bag of chips with Olestra.
Can we talk about?
Then she'd go out and smoke a few cigs.
Dude, jet fuel? Are you kidding me, Olestra? What are you doing?
That was what she would have for lunch every day, and then she'd go out and smoke a few cigs.
Dude, that is just
know.
Black coffee, Olean, and ripping darts. Here
It
she
was
comes. I'm going on break for the next 45 minutes. If I'm not back in 45, send a search party. Send
she
more
had,
Olestra.
I think she just became immune to it, honestly. She was a
Yeah,
very thin person.
that'll do it. Forget Ozempic. It's Olestra time, baby. All the stars on the red carpet are hitting the Olean before award season.
I don't think they can put Olestra in food anymore.
Yeah, well, I got a guy.
Black market Olestra.
meet me in the alley in 45 minutes. I've got bags. I got a car. He pulls up in a Buick, opens the trunk, and it's just bags and bags and bags of expired Olestra chips. You want to drop pounds fast? Meet me at the Buick.
Eat these chips.
Eat these chips and don't ask questions.
Let me tell you what the interweb says about Olestra. Olestra, a fat substitute, is banned in Canada and the European Union, but it's approved for use in the U.S.
Welcome.
So I guess
Beep, 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 beep.
it's still here.
Well,
Gastrointestinal issues like abdominal cramping and loose stools. Great. Anyway,
but delicious.
it's still in our food,
Tasty.
but it has been the subject of controversy. So anyway,
Good
there
to
you go,
know.
guys. Sponsor us, Olestra.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
We're good.
We're at 51 minutes, by the way.
Okay. What you been watching, reading, or listening to?
So, we watched the new movie, the Chris Pratt and Millie Bobby Brown film.
Okay.
Sorry, let me rephrase that. We watched the Stanley Tucci film, The Electric State. It's new on Netflix. It was fun.
Yeah.
It was a fun watch. Unexpectedly fun. Not great, not terrible. Fun watch. But
Family film?
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
He
liked it?
It was a good watch. Yeah, he quite liked it, actually.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I'm going to
We'll
tell you
put that
something
on
I
our
watched,
list.
and everybody fell asleep, but I watched it. I'm advocating for it. I'm saying it's great, and I don't
Okay.
care what anybody says.
Okay.
You remember Robbie Williams, the singer? The British singer? Probably not, because no one in America knows who he is, but he's worth $300 million and has sold 18 million records worldwide.
I remember
He sang the song
name.
Millennium, but no one knows who he is here. He was in a band. He was in a boy band called Take That, but he's not famous in the U.S. He's famous everywhere else. But they made a biopic about him, where biopics can be a little bland and they're all the same. But his is about him, but he is inexplicably played by a CGI chimp, but going through the world. He's the only chimp, but everybody else is people. And it's a musical, and it's incredible.
What?
It's shot unbelievably well. It's so good. Like, the music's killer. The idea of the chimp is so weird, but you forget about it a couple minutes in and you just buy that I'm watching this chimp be a person. I can't explain it. It got so much flack because no one knows who he is here. It literally cost $110 million to make. Yeah, I went down a rabbit hole, can you tell? $110 million to make. The studio purchased it for $25 million. It has made worldwide $1.9 million to date. Such a flop. But it's won a bunch of awards overseas, and it's unbelievable.
What's it called?
It's called Better Man. And
Better Man.
It's streaming right now for free on one of the platforms. It's not for the kids, but I cannot speak highly enough. It was so good.
Okay. Well, maybe it's one of those that'll pick up steam after the fact.
I just don't know. Maybe, but it's too good to not. But it has lost so much money. It's crazy.
I'll say.
Yeah. Anyway, that's mine. And I gotta say, I cannot advocate more on its behalf. I loved it. So good.
Good to know. Better Man.
Better Man.
Streaming for free.
Streaming now.
Streaming now.
Get you a bag of Olean and sit down for some Better Man.
No,
Okay.
I'll do one of those things.
Anyways, what about you?
Anyways, okay. So watching, I finished Love Is Blind, Minneapolis. Guys, I don't know about this season. Then I watched the reunion show after. I'm not going to give any spoilers, but I'll tell you what. These people are not. They don't like each other. Like this did not go the way I thought it was going to go.
What?
I know, but listen, it was just it was just weird to me. So, but I finished it. I saw it through. They're going to Denver next. I will say this for Love is Blind. I like how they're doing the thing where they're traveling around to different cities. And I guess they just pack up the pods and take them to Denver. I don't know, but it's kind of fun that they do that. Yeah. I'm just saying. Okay, last night as a family, we watched The Rock. It holds up.
It's so good.
It has so much bad language, and I kept apologizing, and we had to fast forward a couple scenes. But that movie, I remember seeing it in the theater.
It's perfect for what it's trying to accomplish.
It's such a okay, and it's Bruckheimer.
Yeah.
Right? And so every so often you'll get the Pirates music in the background.
Sure.
It's just so it's such an action.
It is in the category for me of movies that are it's not a perfect movie. I mean, it's not a like whatever, but for what it's trying to be, it couldn't be better. Good. It couldn't be better.
It's excellent.
And I would argue that Con Air is too. They really nailed it. And then Face Off, with that little trinity of Cage films, they kind of nailed it.
That's what we were talking about. We're like, I don't know that we can show the other two to our children.
Sure you can.
Just yet.
Sure you can.
Well, I'll run up with the blanket.
Face Off is the worst in terms of like appropriateness. Con Air is just as there's one character that's very problematic. But other than
that, think
just one. Just everybody else, all the other cons on Air are fine.
They're fine.
Anyway.
Okay, so we watched that. The kids loved it. Yeah. I think. I'm starting a new book. There's a new book by a theologian that I love named Stanley Hauerwas called Jesus Changes Everything. That's wonderful. And so, if you're into theology at all, or if you love Stanley Hauerwas, his new collection.
Oh, you didn't say Stanley Hauerwas.
Oh, okay. Anyway, it's fantastic. I keep going back and back and back to it. It's kind of keeping me sane these last few weeks. I love it. Okay, what's your warm heart, B?
I can't say. I had a conversation with some friends, and I can't say. I'll tell you off air.
Oh, okay.
But that's it. But you'll like it. It will warm your heart too.
It will warm my heart. I have no doubt. Mine is playing board games with the fam. I forgot how much I love playing board games.
Mine's better than yours. This is the first time that my warm heart's better than yours.
I bet. I still am dying last week how you're like, I played virtual golf with Levi.
It was awesome.
And mine was, well, and see, this week I'm playing games. So see, we're even.
Yeah.
Even, Steven.
Loser. All right. Hey, enjoy the lake without me. Enjoy your cobbler. You suck.
Okay. Guys, we love you. If you haven't left us a rating or review, we would appreciate it so much. It helps people find us. And Stillwater, we love you. Our hearts are with you.
Love you, Stillwater.
Yeah. All right, guys.
Okay,
talk at you next week. Bye.
Hold on.